So, hi everybody, welcome to a new episode of Spur of the Moment. We got a question in which I'll read out. How would you define a release? Very common are the pressure release methods. If the horse releases, then the human releases after the human has put pressure on the horse. So, that's an interesting question.
That is an interesting question. Like right away, what pops in my mind is like, how do you define contact?
Yeah, there's different types of pressure in this concept of pressure and release. There's the pressure of sending a horse away in the round pen. That was the previous episode. When do you release that pressure and call them in? But the term pressure and release in our industry is most often referred to with contact. So there's pressure and of lunging, sending away. There's pressure of your leg into a horse's side while riding. There's pressure of your seat on their back while riding. But the term pressure and release is typically about contact. And you're right, Lizzie, that brings up, well, what type of contact, which we've also talked about before. And for me, this is a very critical question, because would you mind being a horse and demonstrating this, Lizzie? Go ahead and put your hands out and take contact. So there's the horse, and we'll just say there's the horse wearing a halter. And I'm the person on the ground. And this is where pressure and release is most often, not where, how it's most often identified. That I want this horse's head to, quote, give to me. So, trying not to be aggressive, but using my hand to lead its head my way. And you can see she's resisting that. Now, this goes on, and you've all seen this. This can start happening. And I won't do it, but bang, bang can start happening, all in the name of pressure and release. Now, the concept is, quote, to get the horse to give you its head, control the head. Now, this is a hand, as Lizzie and I were just mentioning. Pressure comes into play. Contact is to be defined. This is a hand pulling the horse's head, and the horse naturally resists that and pulls against it. And as most people have been taught pressure and release, you keep pulling and increase pulling to even aggressively jerking. Sometimes it looks like someone's trying to start a lawnmower. Until the horse gives. Now watch, there, Lizzie just gives, and this gets soft, and then the person gives. Now, what you just witnessed is a human being pulling the head of a horse, which triggers all kinds of prey animal anxieties in a horse, and we keep doing it till they give. And then we stop pulling at that point. Now, in my mind, I won't be shy about saying this, to me that's horse abuse.
Yeah, it is.
Now, here's a completely different example of pressure. The post is the human hand. I am the horse. Now, we've all seen horses tied to posts, and they can pull against. I'm a horse pulling on this post. But the post isn't pulling me.
No.
I'm pulling against a static blocking energy. I'm not resisting being pulled. That's a different type of contact. That's a different pressure. To reach to your face and pull it towards me is one type of pressure. To hold it and block it from getting away is another. So if this is the human hand, it's not pulling the horse. And as the horse is pulling on the post, it's the horse creating the pressure, not the human. And so when the horse stops pulling against that blocking energy of the post, the release is automatically there.
Yeah.
So let's do that again, Lizzie. And you be the horse, and I'm the human. And I'm not going to create, quote, pressure by pulling her head towards me. Not at all. I'm just holding the block. And as she goes to turn away, she bumps into a holding hand, not a pulling hand. And as I mentioned before, the old saying is to hold our horses, not pull our horses. So in fact, I don't need to release. The horse is the one creating the pressure. Go ahead, Lizzie. And the horse is the one releasing the pressure. And I'd like you to consider this, folks, as we talk about this, to contribute to the debate. Lizzie, one more time, please. If I create the pressure pulling the horse has no choice, really. The only choice is, when does it quit resisting? Now, a horse can never choose that the human will not pull it. You can't choose for me not to pull you. But if I'm a holder with reins and ropes instead of a puller, different type of pressure. Lizzie, in her own mind, she's the horse, she chooses whether or not to pull on me. So your horse can never choose whether or not you pull on it, but your horse can choose whether or not it pulls on your boundaries. So pressure and release, as it's being taught with regards to ropes and reins, is kind of like a fireman who starts a fire and then feels good about being the one who put it out. The pyromaniacal fireman. And these exist.
Yeah.
It's like mothers with Munchausen syndrome. When we cause problems and then feel good about being the one to fix them.
Yeah.
So I would ask people to rise above this prevalence in our industry of pressure and release by pulling until horses stop pulling against the pull. And instead, remember the oldest saying with horses that there is: hold your horses.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I think that this is such a good explanation. Thanks so much for the question, and keep sending us your questions because we love getting them in.
Yes.
So that was it. Thank you so much.
Spur you later.